welcome everybody. This is a special episode of BFFT, which is Barely Furcasting, featuring Taebyn. This is a BLFC recap. We just got back, all of us, from BLFC in Reno. Joining us today is TickTock. Say hello.
Hey.
Hey, we have Lux Operon, or as she is putting on our thing today, she looks Oprah on. So welcome, Lux.
I was going to say, it's better than Oprah off. All right.
Yes, and we don't want to get Oprah. No, wait a minute. We're keeping it safe. And then we have Rayne Raccoon joining us.
Hey, gang.
And of course, we all know that that puptacular pup, Taebyn. How you doing, Taebyn?
Well, bark. Hello. Yes, my name is Taebyn, and I am a pup. And hi. Yes, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me on, because I'm never on here, I guess.
You're never on the podcast, are you?
Never. So I'm really I worked really hard. I scraped my pausies to try and make it onto Barely Furcasting, featuring me, and I'm finally there. So that's
wow,
really great. So thanks for having me.
So Taebyn, you and I got back yesterday for BLFC, and I think everybody on the podcast today got back yesterday or Sunday night. If I'm not mistaken. TickTock, did you come back Sunday night or did you come back yesterday? Monday.
Well, I was flying Sunday night. I got back Monday morning, technically. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, it was a long drive for us, wasn't it, Taebyn?
Yes, but happily my puppy head fits nicely out the window, and I had the nice windy, and it was a little cold, but it still helped my fluff, so it was good.
You snapped at the snowflakes a few times, too.
I did. I could not resist, because they're all fluffy and they go flying by and they're just so fun, and I couldn't resist, so I did. I'm naughty. Right.
Okay. So I thought it would be fun to do a little recap of BLFC. What do you say, Taebyn? Should we recap what happened at BLFC?
Yes, let's all say together on the count of 3. Let's recap what happened at BLFC. 1, 2, 3.
Let's
recap what happened at BLFC. We did it.
All right. So first of all, we need to talk about the pizza issue. So here's the problem with the pizza issue. The pizza issue has made worldwide news.
What?
It was all over my news feed. I have a news feed for furry stuff. It showed up in BBC. It showed up in India United Press. It showed up in CNN. It showed up in several other major news feeds around the world, explaining what happened with the pizza at BLFC. So, PizzaCon is now officially BLFC.
Okay, no, I need to jump in here for a second. All right, so PizzaCon was my convention that I ran back in July, and it was a wholesome event in which we all held hands in the grace of a power greater than us, and we all, to put it frankly, now I'm going to have to figure out how the hell to rebrand my convention that I run.
Right? Yeah, because as soon as you say PizzaCon, you're going to have to...
I gotta reorder buttons. Yeah. I gotta redesign the graphic, man. All I was doing, it was a joke because it was a convention based around pizza, and then that's what I hate. So I put in all this effort into making this kind of fun, little, tiny, scrappy little free fur convention, and also someone like Ash Coyote puts in effort to create this 10-part wholesome series on YouTube about how the fandom is all misunderstood and safe for work and stuff, and then one guy in a green fursuit undoes years of work. Oh my god!
With the fandom, one stupid idea, right? And it's funny,
that's the thing,
If you open Google right now and type in BLFC, it automatically finishes with pizza incident.
Pizza incident. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to test this.
Yes.
I was going to say, there's drama at every convention, right? At Midwest Furfest a few years ago, they had the poison, quote-unquote, gas attack. I mean, rainforest, the less said, the better. But it's kind of sad because conventions are such this wonderful, interesting, amalgamous thing, but the crap that always makes the news is... crap.
Mm-hmm.
More or less. Or other expulsions, I guess we could say. So
it's like the fourth one. It's like the fourth one down, but still
it's right there. Yeah, it's pretty significant.
Yeah,
it pops right up. It's oh no.
Honestly, since there's so much information about the pizza thing, we don't really need to discuss it here. Instead, we can talk about our individual positive experiences.
That's right.
How kick-ass the convention was. So.
All right. So Taebyn, you and I left on Wednesday, so we would be fresh and ready to go on Thursday. And, of course, the nice thing about arriving Wednesday is we got to check in at 7 p.m. for registration since we were sponsor level. What did you think of the check-in process?
The best FurCon registration process experience I have ever had in my, I make it sound like I've been doing cons for like ever, but since 2016, like the best experience I've ever had. So, yeah, I liked it. I wag. It definitely gets 15 wags, maybe 20 if I can go that high.
Wow.
Would that be 40? Would that be 40 bear twitches then? Equivalent?
That would be 40 bear twiggles. Yeah,
right.
we're going to call it a twiggle.
A twiggle.
A twitch and
all
a
right.
wiggle. A twiggle. Yeah.
A twiggle.
Yeah. So, did you guys were you any of you guys sponsor or patron or epic level?
Oh God, no! I regged like the Thursday beforehand because I mean it was still kind of up in the air. I was still struggling to get my commissions done and whatnot, and then I realized, oh crap, I never actually registered for it, so I ended up paying out of there. But what's kind of fun is that like I had enough friends and folks involved. I actually paid out of pocket for one of the cool bracelets, and you do little trades and whatnot. So it's always wonderful to support a con if you can with either platinum or whatnot. But at the same time, it's there's other ways you can support the convention as well, which is proper conduct, showing up with a cool suit, doing a cool volunteer thing, and that's kind of what I did. But yeah, I mean the swag, as far as I understand, the T-shirts looked really really cool. Those little glowing bracelets were they were very clutch. So I mean, great swag. Really fit the theme of cyberpunk and all that. So I know everyone was really enjoying the stuff that they got.
Yeah. So TickTock, how long did it take you to get through registration?
10 minutes, maybe.
Wow.
I mean, and I also like hit like a really good time too, because when was it? So there's a story coming up later about getting there, but basically I regged at around 11 o'clock, I want to say in the morning, Friday morning. I was a Patreon, but that didn't have anything to do.
A patron.
A patron.
Patreon.
But I mean, that didn't have anything to do with the registration. It was more like I'd done like what was it? What was the one below it? The sponsor.
Sponsor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I had already done the sponsor a year and a half ago, and then they like put a thing on the BLFC chat like, oh, we have like a couple openings for the upper ones. I'm just like, oh, so what the heck, so how much does it cost? Oh, $50. Sure. Why not? Yeah.
I upped mine to patron also, but they didn't. For some reason, I still had a sponsor ticket when they gave it to me, even though I checked my credit card statement and I did actually get the extra $50. So I went and supported the con anyway. Which is more what that was all about. It wasn't about the swag. Rayne, how about you? Did it take you long to get through?
So we got there Thursday morning, which was the first day attendees could do the registration thing, and we got in line early because we were worried that it was going to be a madhouse, and surprisingly it was not a madhouse. As soon as noon hit, they pretty much opened the doors and people started going in, and I'd say all total maybe about 30 minutes after the doors opened we were registered and out the door. Yeah, very smooth operation. It was very quick, really well run. I think impressed.
I think every con in the world should take a lesson from BLFC on how to do registration.
Definitely. So. I think it's worthwhile mentioning, too, because I know that there's a lot of like newer furries that listen to this podcast. And also with BLFC, there were a ton of people who this was their first con. I think we all need to sort of stress that this is not the typical experience.
This is not normal for registration. No. It is not normal at all. No.
There's kind of infamous photos from Midwest Fur Fest of these kind of like placards in registration where it's like, this is the 6-hour mark, like you're doing great. And basically like furry conventions, especially furry conventions too, because they're nonprofit, are just known for having Soviet bread lines of registration. It feels like it's an opening day attraction at Disney World. And seriously, I don't know what BLFC is doing differently, but yeah, I totally agree. Every single major convention, especially, should take a look at what they're doing and do that, because no one likes waiting in lines for anything. And the thing is that
Right.
your time at a hotel for a furry convention is precious. Your friends are drifting around like comets and satellites hurtling through space. And the more time that you have on the floor, the more chances you have to either see old friends or suits or whatnot. So you're really probably not going to have quality interactions while you're just waiting to pick up a piece of plastic that you paid half a year ago for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Furlandia was almost an hour and 45 minutes for me. And we got there early that morning. And so that's, it's amazing that BLFC was just so on point about getting people through the line, getting you registered. They scanned your ID and immediately they
Boom,
printed out your ticket and you're good.
And they also, it's worth mentioning too, they had the waivers as well for COVID.
Right.
So
you had a whole
there was
other step.
Yeah,
Right. There was a second step. Yeah.
Right, there was that layer on top of it, and still, I showed up on Friday because again I registered Thursday night, and there was no line whatsoever. I dipped right in, said hello. I even had time to like talk shop as a maker with some of the other guys behind the register. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the chick who does the EL wire stuff.
Right.
And
Nice.
we there was enough staff in there where I could pull a guy aside and just jam for 15 minutes about wearables and trade my business information before piecing out. And that is like normally at like Reg, it's like no, you get your stuff, you go because there's a huge line or whatever. So props to BLFC definitely for supporting that.
So Taebyn, so we got there Wednesday. So what did you do Wednesday night?
I ran around like the pup I am, it turns out. I know that's surprising to every fur, but that's what I did.
Right.
And I met Jib Cody. That was exciting to hug the cute, wonderful artist. I think most all of us are our fur. I can't even do it. Most all of us furs know Jib Cody and his wonderful, wonderful artistry and beautiful things that he does, very emotional things he does too. Anyway, I got to meet him finally for the first time. I saw him a few more times over the course of the con, but that was very exciting to meet and hug that. He's so nice.
Yeah, and then I pupped around with you until about 1 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, there was maybe a handful of furs out there, but as the night went on, more furs showed up, and it was kind of obvious that we were at a fur con. And then we went to bed, and we got up Thursday morning. And then what did we do Thursday, Taebyn?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because
I did ask. Yes,
you did ask. Opening ceremonies was in the evening, so we kind of just hung around and saw other furs until then, and went to opening ceremonies, and that was. I always like going to opening ceremonies, trying to get in the front and everything. And it was good stuff. My little puppy voice is still a little raspy from this pup.
It's a little raspy. Yes.
This pup turned into a horse. This weekend.
Wait, was there a transformation ray at the convention that turned into a horse?
Apparently there was. I tripped over when I didn't even realize. So.
Dude, I got patents. I got to call my lawyer, man. That's not
right. Horsey Ray. Horsey Ray.
So
good. And then Taebyn, who was the DJ that we went and saw first?
Well, our friend Colin Bunny. Shout out to the Bun. Hello, Bun, if you're listening. I don't think he listens to this.
Shout out to the Bun.
But in any case, our friend Colin
we'll have
Bunny
to send him a message
first.
saying we mentioned him on the podcast. Yeah.
We will. Yes, our friend Colin Bunny was the first DJ, which is exciting to be the first DJ, but it's also, in a way, not exciting because, not many people show up, but actually some first showed up, so that was good and fun. And he did a good set. I really liked his set, actually.
I mean, it was pretty well attended.
Yeah.
His set was really good, I have to say. That as far as fur cons go, there are some sets that are not my taste, and I know they're not your taste as well sometimes, Taebyn, but So did anybody else on our panel here today go to Colin Bunny's set, the very first opening DJ?
Me.
No? Oh, Rayne, you went. Yeah. What'd you think?
I liked it. I had a good time. That was my first time dancing in fursuit, and wow.
Nice.
that was an experience. I had such a good time.
Right. Yeah, it's always fun to watch the dancers going on there. Taebyn, is Colin Bunny a DTWA? Or DWTA,
no, he
whatever
is
that is?
just a bun. Just a bun. I didn't mean
just
it like that.
Okay. All right. So for those that don't know what DTWA is, would you explain what that is?
DTWA stands for Defiant Tail Waggers Anonymous.
Ah. Okay.
It really does.
I don't think that's the real thing, is it? Really? Is it?
It's a real thing.
I thought it was down with the anthropomorphics.
Well, that too. I mean, furries ruin everything, so that's kind of the society for those
Anyway,
that ruin
moving,
everything. So yeah.
moving right
any
along.
of us could Google this. Any of us could. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna hop in here. Figure out
all right,
how
you're
that
gonna
is.
hop in the Googles. Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, I just mysteries, right? DTWA furry.
So TikTok and Oprah, what'd you do on Thursday? Anything fun?
Well, let's see. So, do you want to hear my Thursday adventure?
Well, absolutely. That's why you're here, to tell us about
Okay,
your
why
adventures.
not? Right? Yeah, I
Yes,
just didn't
yeah.
know if Miss Oprah, I had to, give.
Yield the floor to Miss Oprah. It's like,
Yes, exactly.
You can ask permission if you want, TikTok.
Oh.
May I, Miss Oprah? take the floor
shall.
from you?
We shall allow it.
Oh, thank you so much, my dear. So let's see. So Wednesday night, my hubby and I went out to see Fish, the band, in Eugene, and apparently I had a little bit too much podcast fluid, and I was unable to drive home because. My husband said, honey, we need to pull over. And I said, that's probably a good idea. So, but we made it home. We made it home okay. He drove. And then, so I'm running around all day Thursday with a terrible hangover. And then I get to the airport and everything's all set. I'm good. I got my suit. I got my box. And then, and everything's like on time. I get to the gate. We're supposed to leave at 6:15. And the plane is at the gate. And what I didn't know is that SkyWest, which is part of Alaska Airlines, had this massive IT failure. And so nobody knew anything. We were supposed to board at 5:45. 5:45 comes, it leaves. We're like, what's going on? And right at 6:15, they finally announced the flight is canceled.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So in the flight people, the people on the flight, we're flying out of Portland, so there's obviously other furs on the plane. And I was chatting with two of them, and they got the announcement, and we're all like looking at each other. What do we do? And one of them was like frantically on his phone, like looking up alternate flights. Nothing. And the other one just like said, "Hey guys, do you want to just do a road trip?" So we rented a big SUV with 4-wheel drive just in case we had snow, and drove down. And it was two people I had never met. And I want to say right now, props to Torque Shep for renting the SUV, and also Kairu Rabbit, who's a really awesome guy. And the three of us talked about everything under the sun to keep us going and awake and on the
I'll
road.
bet. Yeah. Wow, that's a long drive late at night. Wow.
Yeah. So we got in at 4:30 in the morning, and So.
Ooh.
Yep. And then, one last little bit on this, two little things. One at the check-in, they had this disclaimer for normies that didn't know what was going on at the con. They said, oh, by the way, there's this furry convention going on. And the lady at the check-in said something about a convention. I'm like, acting all innocent despite my exhaustion. Oh, really? What's that? And she shows me the page, and I kind of snicker a little, and I'm saying, oh, gee, I wonder what could be in this great big Pelican Rolly box. And she completely lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just another tribute to the fandom. I mean, who else? What other community would you just jump in a rental car with two people you'd never met in your entire life?
Two strangers, right? Yeah. It's like
to a furry convention. So
right.
Props.
465 miles from Portland, I believe.
Yep. Just under 9 hours, I believe. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us up to Friday. Taebyn, what did you do on Friday? Hi.
Well, hi.
Well, yeah, hi there. Remember us?
Hi there.
Yeah.
Taebyn horse.
Friday.
Taebyn horse, yeah.
This Taebyn is very horsey today.
Taebyn's a little pony.
Taebyn Tor. Taebyn.
My little Taebyn.
My little Taebyn.
Yeah.
My little Taebyn. My little Taebyn.
Oh, they don't understand. They don't know the crossover, do they, Taebyn? They don't know the crossover.
Do you have a cutie mark, Taebyn? Is it a sore throat?
Maybe.
Is it a bottle of painkillers, maybe?
Yes, it's a bottle of painkillers.
I'm not going to tell. Anyway, yeah, so Friday started getting a little busy. I had a panel at 2 p.m. I did my Taebyn Sings Weird Al panel thingy.
And how did that go?
Okay.
How did that go, Taebyn?
They gave you 2 hours, right, man? You had 2 hours worth of content.
They gave me 2 hours, and I don't
Right.
even know why. I didn't ask for that. It was only supposed to be about 45 minutes, which is about what it was. But yeah, they scheduled me for 2 hours, and I don't even know. Anyway,
I think they thought you were going to sing every Weird Al song.
which they apparently don't know Weird Al, because that would have actually taken 2 weeks, not 2 hours.
Right, yes,
to do. So,
exactly, yeah.
so they were totally messed up on all fronts. But yeah, that actually overall went well. I've actually had a lot of. It wasn't a really big turnout. I realized, and other furs that wanted to go told me that they had the, they had the electric ticketing system for the dealers den, and I had a few furs tell me that their time was like at 1:15, 1:30 or something, so they weren't going to be able to make it to my thing. But I have had a bunch of furs that did say that they really liked it. Even though I crashed and burned like twice, but still they liked it. So it's always good to watch Taebyn crash and burn, apparently. So that's what we got out of that.
Well, but you didn't really. I mean, you crashed. You didn't burn, but you crashed. I mean, I'll tell you right now. It was a fun time. Everybody that was there had a great time, and we all love you, Taebyn. And even if you forgot the words, we still love you.
Yeah, I had a fantastic time, and the guy playing the music for you. Man, he was excellent.
Excellent. I wish I could remember who that was.
Me too, but I had too much Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just to set the record straight, I did not. So for any fur out there, just to set the record straight, I did not forget the words. I knew all the words, so that was not what happened. But no, it went over well. And even a few days later, a fur came up to me. That I didn't even know was there. I didn't recognize was in the panel, so they must have been sitting in the back or something. They came up to me and said that they loved the Weird Al thing that I did. So that was nice anyway.
That was great.
Yeah, it went over actually pretty well. And then let's see, that evening around 8 or something was the Cassidy Civit show. For any further that doesn't know Cassidy Civit, she is a wonderful
shout out
performer.
Cassidy Civit. She's a wonderful performer. Yep.
Wonderful performer. Such a great voice. Oh my cow, such a great voice. And she's been on the show a few times, and I know. And so she's really great, and that was good. And then then the dances, of course.
Of course, the dances. You got to go to the dances, right? Yeah.
Dances. I was dancing, popping it. That was a good time.
Yeah.
All right, Rayne, what did you?
I was going to say, I had my panel on Friday night, so.
Yes.
That's
sorry.
Right.
We totally forgot that. We went to your panel. Yes. Sorry about
How
that.
easily the mighty Lux Operon is forgotten.
We were just seeing if you
remember.
We knew. We were just seeing if you remember that you had a panel.
Well, you know what, guys? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So.
That's right. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I'll jump in here a sec. So yeah, this convention was pretty emotionally intense for me. This had been the first time that I had shown art at a furry con in probably 10 years. So for a long time, I had my art business kind of in semi-mothball, and just being able... So I arrived after spending probably the most insane 10 days I think I've ever spent, just weaving badges, soldering it. The inverters came in for these... For those that don't know, in this particular podcast, I make wearable neon badges, and there was a hiccup with my wholesaler. I actually had to order a bunch of crap from China, and then the inverters didn't arrive, but these all came in at the 0 hour, so I actually had a display. I brought all my badges with me, and I went downstairs to... There was two different separate furry lounges at BLFC. There was one upstairs that was the larger lounge, but there was one downstairs that had this nice little shaded display. The decorations lead to Menefis is a friend of mine. I was like, hey, can I put my stuff out? He's like, yeah, do what you want. I don't care. I'm like, yeah, FurryCon. So I actually had all these badges out at the table. And, it's funny because I look at these things day in, day out, right? And it's just kind of part of whatever, but it's just so delightful to see fresh sets of eyes just gather in wonder around the thing that you've, kind of bled and innovated and struggled with for like 10 years. It was like powerfully affirming. And I got like 12 commissions just from the little display I had downstairs. Everyone was
congratulations. That's
yeah.
great.
Oh, it felt like, you know what, maybe this is all for something besides just the bills,
Right. Yeah.
And the panel, interestingly enough, like because I didn't even think I was going to get my panel approved. I was actually on there because a lot of other people were getting their emails, but yeah, your panel's approved or whatnot. I never heard back, but then one of the leads contacted me on Telegram like 4 days before the event. They're like, yeah, we'll give you time. We had a bunch of cancellations. You want 2 hours? I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I threw together a Wearables 101 panel, which really was just kind of a half an hour of semi-informational talking, and I took advantage of it to do little song and dance performances, which is really kind of what I've always wanted to do with EL Wire, was to have a captive audience. So I have no idea how it was received, but I had fun doing it. And something of note was that I did like 2 performances and then a panel in between where I go over wearable electronics and blah, blah, blah. And the opening was just kind of me having fun, but maybe something that wasn't quite picked up on in the evening. I don't know if it was apparent or not, but that was something I devoted to Dog Bomb, actually. I did this little three song thing, and I really was just holding in my head. I'm like, well, I was kind of going through music for the end of it, and I was thinking, well, what's meaningful to me too in this past year with with COVID-19, us losing loved ones, and just us coming back and conventions coming back, and how can I really put a bow on this? And I thought back to, I believe Dog Bomb passed in 2018, 2019. It's been a few years now.
I think it was
and I really
18.
thought about yeah. And it was really something that really bound the fandom together at the time when it happened. A lot of people were, everyone changed their Telegram avatars to black, and then they changed it to a little flower lay around it. And I thought to myself, like, I was sincerely thankful for being part of that whole experience that he was in. And it really made me reframe loss and renewal and all that kind of thing. So I wanted to lift that up and do a little goofy song and dance with my EL Wire stuff, and rather than it being a self-promotion thing, I'm like, I'm gonna lift this up to his memory. And then afterwards, we did our little Glow Zone meetup where it was awesome. We had some poi spinners and some guys that wear the glowing fingertip gloves. It's called gloving, and we all kind of got together and networked a little bit on Friday night. And then also at the end of the panel, some people came in. I guess there's a hidden piano in the back of that room, and he came in and started playing piano. I'm like, he takes requests, play Piano Man. This guy in a pup hood played Piano Man for me. So it was a very, very magical evening. So probably the best panel I've ever put on. Not gloating or anything, but yeah.
Nice.
So I hope people learned some stuff, and I hope that they tolerated the arty farty stuff. So
it was fun to watch you dancing around up there in the dark with all the lights going on. I know Rayne was there. His husband was there. Mm-hmm. So TickTock, what did you do Friday?
Oh, let's see. Well, Friday, I attended the Taebyn singing Weird Al, which I found to be highly entertaining in a good way,
yay.
actually.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you, doggy.
You're welcome. Of course. And then, we did I did a bunch of fursuiting, and I've done a fair amount, like, kind of at home and practice and doing stuff for the virtual cons over the winter, doing skits for that. But I'd never really done that much publicly and that much time in suit, and it was just an amazing experience. I mean, everyone's going to say amazing, about 10,000 times during this podcast, at least.
right.
But yeah, no, it's just, I got to, do your show in suit, and then I walked around for a little bit, and then I went down to the dealer's den, and I hunted down Lemon Brat, who is my suit creator. It took a little bit to find them, but I finally found them, and then Austin and Roman were there, and they were just selling, like just crazy. And then I kind of got a little bit closer in line, and all of a sudden they noticed me, and like, TickTock, and then Austin just comes running around the booth and about tackles me and does this big hug, and we got a couple good pics there. And then, let's see, took a few breaks, and then ended out with going out with some buddies, some of them took me out to this great DJ show, and that was just also my first time dancing in suit for any extended period of time. And it was this great funk show. I'm not sure it was the same DJ you guys were mentioning, but the Collins sounds familiar. Maybe not. Well, what kind of
Colin
what
didn't
kind of set does
do
he play?
funk, so
Yeah, he didn't
Okay.
do funk. He didn't do
Okay.
Friday, so
Okay,
yeah,
so
so it had to be somebody else on Friday.
Okay,
night.
somebody else. Whoever it was, he was excellent, and he was a friend of one of the friends, and we got there, and he'd been on for a little bit. He hadn't just started, but it wasn't but the floor was empty, and there was about 9 of us suitors that just piled onto the floor, just started wiggling our butts and doing
Nice.
the funky thing, and then we kind of pulled all the wallflowers off the wall, and apparently, the friend of friend thanked the friend, yeah, I felt so good, just getting, getting some audience going, and it was excellent. So I need to find out who it is, but I can. I will deduce this.
it is in the
All right,
in the
and Rayne,
con
what'd you do?
schedule. So
I did the Weird Al thing with our pup.
because
that was
you
a
might have
lot of
already
fun.
alluded
I
to
had a really
yourself
good time doing that.
before.
Oh yeah. I was the guy that was running the music. So,
So,
was
so
me.
shout out to this
So,
raccoon right here.
yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Right. Shout out to
Um,
Raccoon.
And then afterwards, Pup and I went out playing for a while, and we had a good time. We did a lot of fursuit hugs and stuff with everybody, and yeah, just generally had a really, really good time.
Nice. All right, that takes us up to Saturday. This was a busy day for Taebyn and I. You had your story time at noon, right, Taebyn?
I did have my story time at noon, which is a little early for this pup because this pup likes his sleepy box, and sleepy box wants me there for longer than I was there. But
Yeah.
but I did it, and it went over my story time too.
As-
For Eddie that has seen me before, I usually do this at cons, and I have some videos on my YouTube. But it went over really, really well. There were 45 furs that showed up, which is
There
There
was.
that's
There was
that's
a lot of
I
furs.
think. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And yeah, the audience was really great too. They were interactive and really responsive, and they laughed at all the stupid things I said, which was amazing. And no, it was a lot of fun. It went over really, really well, and we got it videoed. So any further that wants to check that out at some point in the near future, I will have that on my YouTube, along with the Weird Al thing. And if you're listening to this too far in the future, I already posted it on my YouTube. So sometime in the past or present, it will be on my YouTube. But yeah, anyway, it was a lot of fun. It went really, really well. And shout out, special thanks to Mudor for who was my page turner that particular time.
Yeah, so for furs that don't know, when you come to a story time with Taebyn, you might be selected to be the page turner for the pup. So
Page
beware,
turner for the
beware,
pup. Or
be aware.
The horsey at the moment,
good
but
wording.
usually the pup.
Yes.
I was gonna say, when you have horse hooves, you can't turn the pages, so it's probably very good that you'd have somebody to help you out. Because I don't know how much of a horse you were on Saturday, whether the transformation was slow going. Or
It was slow going. Yeah. It only just
It was
hit
slow
the
going
transformation.
transformation. Yeah. It was like a low level radiation
yeah.
beam that was just bringing him
like a trickle
into the horse.
transformation.
Yes.
I see.
Yep. Exactly like that. Yeah.
TikTok has the perfect sound for it right there. Yeah, right.
That's
Right?
right. Yep. It's like yep.
My goodness.
It's just like that. It was following him around. It's like, what is that noise? It's like,
Exactly. I was wondering the whole time.
Taebyn's eating out of a feed bag, He's
Yeah, it's
getting
like, why am I
skittish
doing
at
this?
people
Why am I
walking
doing
up
this?
beside him and stuff,
That may have been Sunday.
Right?
yeah. Yep. So and then we did our podcast at 4, right, Taebyn?
That went, that was
Yeah.
fun, and that went well. A few TikTok was one of them that showed up. Rayne, of course, was there. Lux Operon, of course, you had your own things going on, so we'll forgive you this once. But
No,
our
I-
thoughts
You're a
were
dark
with you.
I was I kept
You were
trying
in a dark
to, like,
corner.
Well, yeah,
you were in a dark
so
corner back there. I saw that.
I can relay what I was doing Saturday. So first of all, I fully intended to have the podcast happen, but no one reached out to me, and I guess I kind of got distracted. So we missed the connection, but it's fine. I had gotten my panel was done, the badges were delivered. Rayne is pulling something off of his bookshelf, and crap's falling everywhere. So heck yeah, I was gonna say parting the kimono here a little bit, but anywho, so I don't know. I don't know what you know. Let's say, but I had this kind of harebrained idea. Oh no. Right? I had this harebrained idea because I kind of realized, okay, I'm all of my firm commitments besides the podcast, which ended up not happening, but I'm like, well, they're all gone. But Saturday, the one thing you must know about a furry convention is, yes, your friends are rocketing through the hallways at a portion of the speed of light, and you're lucky to catch people and hold on to them. And typically, if you're an artist or you're a performer or whatever, you are the waypoint. You are the thing that people come to and interact with and then go. And I was like, well, you know, that little decorated dark area downstairs, half of it was empty because, you know, they were planning on much of more builds and more cool arty stuff being down there. Like, it kind of didn't happen this year. So again, I contacted Manifest and I'm like, I'm just gonna do a thing. He's like, yeah, do what you want, I don't care. I'm like, great. So I go downstairs and so I premiered the night beforehand a mask that I had put together that's based on it's like a pattern after a Neolithic Saxon helmet, some of the first metal armor in Europe. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to set up a little camp. My friend Lucky Fox, who runs the Communist Party at FC, before he ran that room party, he would do these things called forbidden picnics, which was just him laying on a blanket with snacks and whatnot. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to do something like that. And I was thinking, you know, I'm just going to do it like a medieval whatever. I had the little torch light that I used in the performance beforehand, so I set up a little campfire. I bought some crackers, and this was all improv. I came up with this like 2 hours like before I came to the con. Yeah, I was like, screw it. And I did a little fortune telling and all that jazz. And it was nice because I set up a camp and everyone came along and I was like, yeah, come sit, grab a cracker, whatever. I did little fortune telling things. I can do I Ching readings with pennies. And of course, you know, I just go, I'll call me now for your free reading, you know. And these people were, well, folks were coming by and they seemed to really genuinely dig the vibe. There's something about, because I have my Bluetooth speaker next to me playing some very gentle Celtic music and a little fire and stuff. Like, it was a nice sort of place of respite. Because the one thing about cyberpunk, and no knock on the aesthetic or all that, but it's not a very warm aesthetic, right? Like, cyberpunk is dystopic, and everything's kind of wrong, and the world is whatever, and that's cool. But so I was like, well, you know what? This is a video game save point. In fact, people were tagging me on TikTok, on not on you TikTok, but on the platform TikTok, and they were calling it the BLFC save point. I'm like, that's kind of fun, right? Like, you come here, you get your hit points back and whatnot, and you know, and also it worked. Like, I would sit down there, and people saw my glowing mask and fingers in the dark, and all my friends were like, there's Lux, and they'd come over and give me a hug or whatnot. But more so, like, besides seeing my friends, I met so many other people and just got to do little fortune telling things and role playing and whatnot. And maybe some people don't quite get this, but at furry conventions, one of the wonderful things about it, you do have scheduled panels, absolutely, and you do have things that are on there, but some of the most meaningful experiences that I've ever had at furry conventions are just crap that happens out of the blue.
Right.
And I was holding that tradition. As long as you're above board with the convention organizers, which you shouldn't be obscuring walkways, you shouldn't be lighting things on fire, you shouldn't be leaving pizzas in the hallway, but
right,
you know,
yes, like,
right. But there's a lot of room in between what's officially on the schedule and what you strictly can't do. And as long as you ask the right people, like, I'd always encourage people, random acts of kindness and beauty are the place that you should do them is at furry conventions. Bring your stickers to trade. You know, bring something, and you can also bring, and maybe something other like fursuiters don't necessarily know, or new furries don't know, is that there were plenty of people walking around in costumes that weren't fursuits. Like, there's a guy who had this. Did you see the beige computer monitor head guy from Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
He had the Arduino eyes on. And again, it's kind of vaguely furry, but I mean, my thing was a glowing mask, but it's also not really a proper fursuit. Sometimes you'll see historical cosplayers.
Right.
There's one guy with a giant glowing costume who goes to Further Confusion a bunch, who just calls himself Satan. He's like this raving, glowing demon. So you know, if you want to do something at a con, you're like, you know what, I just want to like buy McDonald's for some people, or I want to show up with like a little bubble gun, or I want to do whatever.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be so hung up on the idea that you have to drop like, you know, $7-8 grand. I mean, don't get me wrong, fursuits are you wear fursuits at furry conventions, but don't feel pressured to necessarily, if you got a cool idea and it's not a fursuit, just ask permission if you need it and go try it, you know, because I had a wonderful time at my little fortune telling thing.
There was a guy set up in the hallway that had his little HO gauge railroad station set up, which I thought was kind of cool. It's like totally random, sitting in the corner, setting up a train set. It's like wonderful.
God, I love furry conventions.
Okay. So after our podcast, Taebyn, you went to the dance competition, right? How was that?
Hi there.
Taebyn. Hi there.
Hi.
How was the dance comp?
Hi. Oh yeah, that thing. The dance comp was like I thought. So I don't remember all the dance comps I've been to. You know, I mean they blur together, and especially since it's been a few years since I've been to one. But from what I remember anyway, I would say that overall this particular dance comp was one of the better ones I've seen overall. Like there was so much good talent. It was so. Wow, the judges must have had an amazingly hard time. It was so any for that went, especially like for example the "We Don't Need Another Hero" performance. That was so awesome. But like even right out of the gate, 1, 2, 3, the first three performers were just like so amazing, and then Fluke showed up later, of course, and that was amazing. And yeah, they were all really good. It was just such really good, entertaining, and lots of variety, both the music and the types of performances and everything. It was just a very exciting thing. So for any fur that didn't get to go to the dance comp or missed it because you had other things going on, make sure to check it out when they post it on YouTube, because this one was really spectacular in this pup's or horsey's humble opinion.
Right.
You're a porse. You're either a porse or a huppy. One of the two.
A huppy.
Well, if I were a hoppy, I'd be some bit of a cross with a bun too, so that's really complicated.
Oh, really?
And then after the concert or after the competition, what'd you do, Taebyn?
Let's see. After the competition, oh right. So Pepper had his kind of after dark show thingy, and we had other things going on. But Rayne and I and his hubby went to see at least the beginning, because we at least wanted to check out, a little bit of Pepper stuff, because love Pepper. We got to talk to him later the next day, and that was very awesome, of course, too. Had him on the show for any further that didn't know. Anyway, I got distracted because I am a pup and I do that. But at the beginning, Cassidy Civet and Pepper had a duet, one of Cassidy's newest songs to be released soon, I think in a month or something, on Spotify. And so that was really cool to check out her new thing. And that was just awesome. That was awesome. So that was a lot of fun. Right. And then what else was that? Oh, well, then the dances happened.
And then, of course, after
later.
that, you went what?
I went dancing.
Of course, the dances happened, right? You got to go to the dances. Yeah. So you say, okay, TickTock, what'd you do on Saturday?
Well, let's see. So, went to the Taebyn reading, more suiting, went to the your live cast, and you put up with me for a little segment on there.
Yes,
talking
we did.
About bungee jumping.
That's right.
Let's see, random King Crimson. Yes, and random King Crimson references, because I couldn't really hear the speakers, and I thought Taebyn was saying something about courts and kings. And I was like, it's the court of the Crimson. It's the court of the Crimson King. You know, what else could it be? Let's see, still more suiting. Was that the night we went out gambling, Barely?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much money did you guys make?
Oh, we actually did all right.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Not retiring level, but we did okay. Yeah. TickTock tried to teach me. He tried to teach me craps, but I was like, I'm so confused.
Oh, I love craps, man. Roulette's also my game, because there's no skill whatsoever. You just
but they were so expensive. Roulette was like $15 minimum there. It was very expensive. Like,
at the Atlantis, it's like $25 minimum.
Good
so
Lord.
It's not. Yeah. Well, Atlantis is a 5-star casino, though. I mean, but you get. I mean, if you want some of the seedier, like like there's definitely a couple of quote unquote gaming and liquor parlors around here where they've got roulette with like I don't know, like a $3 buy-in, but
there you go. That's what. That's my speed, man.
it's like,
you know, so.
I was gonna say that there's a guy with like one eye and a monkey on his shoulder, like telling you stories about Vietnam, and it's like you're only 23 years old, so I'm not sure how like that's Reno though, baby. Right. Oh God, I love this city, man.
So we went gambling. What else did we do? What else did you do, TikTok?
Let's see. What else did I do? Oh, got another story, and then a little follow. So, so I was taking a break from shooting, and decided I wanted to go. It's kind of like I kind of cooled off. I'm like, okay, let's go back to the video poker bar and have a couple of drinks. And on the way down, there's a guy, who was obviously not part of the convention, and he looked a little shell shocked, but he was kind of curious. There was a couple other suitors. I mean, I wasn't dressed. I mean, I was dressed in human clothing, not in fursuit.
You were in your person suit.
I was in my person suit. But he was kind of like asking me about the suits, and it just seemed, like just really curious. But he seemed a little weirded out, but just really intrigued. And he was like kind of wondering about like all the all the water that we drink. And I'm just like, it's like, oh well, yeah, well imagine buying like a Sub-Zero rated North Face sleeping bag and and wearing it around. So, I don't know. He was like, oh right, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he kind of paused and he said, okay, hopefully I can get through this. So he said, it's like, well, my dad's in the hospital. I'm stuck here at the GSR. And, yeah, my days are kind of tough, but when you guys have such energy, just such happy positivity that when I come back here, it just makes things so much better.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's
and,
awesome.
Gave my condolences and gave him a hug and stuff. And then it just kind of was like one of those like moments where you're like, did that just happen?
Right?
Yeah. And, I told a friend about this, yesterday, and I was like, practically bawling, just finally like soaked in.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I hadn't had my little drinky and, kind of went back upstairs and thought I was going to, start kind of winding down. And then a buddy of mine, texts me at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, TikTok, get your butt in suit, come out bowling with us.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, because bowling was free after midnight. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of furries went in there, and
Well, I had the Patron, madame. So.
Absolutely. For those of us in steerage, those of us who would die at the Titanic that is the BLFC sinking, we all had to wait till after midnight. We were all dancing in little Irish folk circles and whatnot while y'all were eating caviar, playing bowling in normal times. Right? Never let go, TikTok. Never let go.
Did you bowl? Did you bowl decent?
I did. Yeah, I did bowl. I mean, definitely the first time bowling in fursuit. I kept my posies and my feetsies on.
Wow.
My first attempt was I completely guttered it. I barely made it halfway down the lane. And then I thought, oh wait, I need a lighter. I can't use like the big heavy, clodhopper ball. So I found a real light one, and I would just kind of like. Pat up my way to the line with my feet, and then just kind of granny throw it, in between my legs. And,
right.
And then, and actually, I actually did all right. I don't remember my score was like not good, but I actually got a strike at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Rayne, did you do anything besides hang out with the pup?
Yeah, actually, I kind of did. So aside hanging out with Pup, which was awesome because Bear was taking a little hibernation break, and so it was my husband and I hanging out with the pup, and we went to the dance comp, and then saw Peppers and Cassidy sing. And so in the line to dance comp, though, I met this really, really cute fursuiter who seemed to know me because they yelled my name, and then we danced around and held posies, and I was like, just like in a hurry to get to the dance comp, so I didn't even get their name. So I put a call out on Twitter with the hashtag BLFC 2021. And luckily, some fur said, "Oh, I know who that is. That's Kalu." And so I sent Kalu a message and thanked them for making my con night because that was amazing to be kind of recognized and then have somebody like dance around with me and be silly fursuit. So
I mean,
Yes.
Rayne, you are a pop fur, so.
not
You're
that.
pop. No, you're pop. I was gonna say, there's gonna be some controversy coming up about you eating a type of candy or something stupid, and then
No,
you get
no,
semi-canceled because you're so controversial and popular, Rayne.
I am.
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm.
So
I am naughty
controversial.
raccoon. I am
Yeah.
naughty
Say.
raccoon.
Yeah.
You like Three
promise to
Musketeers more than Snickers, so.
I
So-
promise I'll never talk about the Skittles. Oh,
TikTok,
no.
come on, man.
Oh God, can't.
on.
Podcast over. We're done.
All right,
no.
so that brings us up to Sunday, and I want to say something. So Saturday, I was up late because, like Rayne said, I was hibernating, and then by the time I got done hibernating, it was like 12:30 in the morning, or 12:30 in the after 12:30 in the afternoon the
Right,
following
right.
day.
Wow.
And that was the first time in the world ever that Taebyn got up before me. Isn't that right, Taebyn?
Yes, I felt a
That
disturbance
is
in
a
the force
thing that
all the way
happened,
from my
and-
hotel.
whoa.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. It was very weird and unnerving, really. It's like this pup is up before the bear. That's a really crazy thing. But, hibernation
I'm gonna
does
say
it
it's
to
one of
you,
the
so I
seals
understand.
opening, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No.
There you go.
So what was the funniest thing about waking me up, though, Taebyn?
Oh, so
Taebyn?
So usually when Mr. Bear wakes this pup up, he opens up the blinds a little bit to kind of help me just ease into the day, because I'm a pup and I have little sleepy eyes and stuff. So he just opens the blinds a little bit and puts so that there's a little bit of light in, and so that helps wake me up. So I was up before the bear, and so at one point I thought, okay, well, I'll try doing the same thing. And it seemed like the bear was totally hibernating and just passed out. He was like snoring and stuff. Well, it wasn't snoring. He doesn't snore, but I could tell he was
Oh, no,
sleepy.
this bear snores big time.
Oh, okay,
big
so
time.
I can say that. Yes, so
Yes,
the
you
bear
can
was
say that,
snoring. And so I took pauses and opened up the blinds a little bit and put just a little bit of light in, thinking I would just gradually wake him up, over the next hour or something. And literally, not a second after I opened the blinds, but he was like, "Good morning." It's like, what? That was magic. How did you do that?
I just
So,
popped right up. It's like, "Good morning, Taebyn. How are you?" He's like,
Like,
Good
you
morning.
were totally
Good
asleep
morning.
just a second. How did you even
Feels
do
Yeah.
great
that?
to be at a
Okay.
fur con. Good morning.
Yep.
Good
Yep.
morning to you.
So,
Crazy.
so then Sunday came along, and we went to the dealer's den that day. That was the only day we had a chance to get to the dealer's den. And you spent some money, Taebyn, obviously, as you often do at the dealer's den. And what did you buy at the dealer's den?
Well, I usually like to try and get things from different artists and, a few different things. But I love Ruka. She's so great. Has great, we've had her on the show. I've talked to her about it before. She has such great artistry and great books and everything. So I ended up talking to Rukas a little bit and just buying a bunch of stuff from her. I bought her new book, which was really cool, Kindred, the first of the
Kindred
two
North.
books.
Yep.
North, right? And she said, so when she was on the show before, so any fur can go back and listen to our talkings with her, she talked about her new book, Kindred, coming up, and that was exciting. And it had, so it's out now, at least the first book. So I bought that, and she signed it for me, which is really cool. And she said the second of the two books is coming out, I think, in a few months or something. So, yeah, that was really fun. And then got some nice art. I got a nice canvas print that she also signed for me. So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of cool. A lot of cool, apparently. Whatever.
A lot of cool. And now the funny thing is about that book, I got home yesterday, and today I jumped online thinking I'll buy a copy digitally. It's not available digitally. It's not even available for order yet on any of the websites.
Ooh.
So anybody
I got a
that
lucky
picked up
pup.
that book at BLFC, you got pre-release specialties right there. That's for sure. So
Yay. Well, this
so
pup is
there you go.
excited. I wag.
Yeah. There's something really magical too about the vendor hall on Sunday, because I didn't actually even make it to the vendors for this con, but I always have this hard rule, and that's that I never go to the vendor hall on Saturday. I always go. I get there first thing on Friday, and you just kind of scope everything out, and if you think something will sell really quickly, you grab it then. But it's always worthwhile to go into a vendor hall on Sunday, because sometimes. Oh, and back when I was still doing a lot of vending, you'd have this happen where you'd have some people who'd have Sunday face of, oh, haven't really quite sold anything all weekend, so everything's like 75% off. Sometimes
Right,
you see
yeah.
these artists with these very sad, kind of desperate eyes of like, I'll draw your character for $1, you know, and then you kind
Right,
of roll
yeah.
in there. But honestly, what I would do, because I always did really well whenever I vended at conventions, but Sunday was always my trickle-down economics day where I would take,
Right.
I always told myself at any show that I'm at, 5% of my proceeds, at least 5% will be immediately spent on other artists around me. So if I made
Right.
like $3,000 at a con, I was at least spending $150, if not $300 on
Nice.
art right there. Because that's the thing. Like furry is not just about rolling in and making a grip of cash and rolling out. I mean, it's about participating
Support all.
in. Yeah, and honestly, like that's, as me as an artist, it's a way to network and collaborate and all that. So Sundays were definitely, especially if I saw somebody who like still had a lot of merch out, was kind of looking nervous. I go over there, and be like, I'm just gonna pay full price for your stuff. I know that you have this panic scribbled out thing on your prices where it's like,
Right.
you know, $5 stickers, $3, you know, $2.
Right.
Like I'm like, I'll pay the full amount, man. Like you've had a hell of a weekend.
I'll give you
so.
$1 if you take one of my stickers, right? So-
Right,
so-
yeah,
so-
exactly. And the other thing about Sundays too, and when I came back to the hotel, is it's always, and I'm glad that I do this, but because I didn't even stay on site for this convention, right? But on Sundays, I always have what I call my Sunday pack, because really what I'm doing is I'm momming my friends, because I have a lot of friends who don't eat all weekend or party way too hard. So the panicked Telegram messages and the phone calls, they'll come in on Sunday. So I had my little pack full of Gatorade and painkillers and fruit snacks, and I was basically I was reverse trick or treating. I went to maybe like 4 or 5 different rooms where a friend was like,
Nice.
"Lux, I really need support." I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming," and just
Nice.
they talk about nothing, and I would just hand them a Gatorade and like a pudding pouch, and I'd be like, all right, I gotta
Right.
go, and then I'd leave. So it's important for take care of
Absolutely.
your friends and whatnot.
Rayne, what'd you do on Sunday?
Sunday, I went to the dealer's den. So, I mean, my husband got to the dealer's den on Friday, and he really knows me, so he got me some really cool art that I absolutely loved. But I still wanted to go myself, and so Sunday we went and visited the dealer's den, and like I bought an LED badge because I had to have one of those really cool little scrolling marquee LED badges.
Of course.
Because
Those
they
are
were
fun.
they were just calling my name.
What did you program yours to say? I'm curious.
Free hugs, and of course my name. So it said Rayne Raccoon, and then it would go to free hugs.
Yeah, the last one I had said, "Call Grandma. She's worried about the furry thing." It's a little too long, though.
Yeah, and so we went, and then we went in. There was the secret market there, and I went there.
Oh, yeah,
the black
spicy
market,
market.
Yes,
yeah.
the spicy market. I don't know
spicy
how I
market.
ended up in there, but I ended up in there. And
you strayed from the light, Rayne.
I
That's
got
what you
this
did.
really cool dragon hat. I don't know much about
in
the
the
company.
spicy market.
Yeah, but there was a dragon hat in the in that spicy market, and I don't know much about the
Okay.
company, but people keep saying they're bad, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. They seemed like very, very nice people.
They were nice
I was going
people,
to
not
say-
nice
bad
dragons.
people.
They were
Dragons
very
of a
nice
certain
dragons.
alignment, and you
Right.
bought a hat of those guys, and you're gonna
Yes,
wear
because
it.
it was so cool. Yes, heck, I wore it all the way home
Well, where does the hat go, Rayne?
on my head.
It's kind of like it keeps you from. You know what? This is a safe work podcast. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bury that comment.
We're just going to bury that comment. TikTok,
Right.
what'd you do on Sunday?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, did some snoozing. Did a little brunch with a buddy. Did one last round of fursuiting. Then hung out in the hot tub with some more buddies.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hopefully not in
woo-hoo.
fursuit.
No.
Okay.
No.
You could have just put your head on, but
Well, I think they were like, yeah. I thought that was a no-no even for heads.
I think it
Some
was.
people were
Yeah.
wearing their pup hoods in the hot tub, but
Well,
you know.
pup hoods are different than fursuit
Yeah,
heads.
Yeah.
fursuit heads
Yeah.
tend to clog the filters.
Yeah.
As someone who's
Right.
owned a hot tub, I
Yeah.
know that. Those
Yeah,
filters are
furs-
real picky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I just kind of packed up and talked to this really cool bartender that had been kind of serving me most of the time at the poker bar. Pulled some money out of the video poker, so I got paid $8 to drink a shot and a Heineken. So
There you go.
that was nice.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they kind of got, made it out to the airport. Let's see, a couple of people from town were flying with me. Flight was delayed, but it wasn't canceled. And just
Because the
finally,
weather, right?
I think they were just
Probably.
flying around a lot because this wasn't, they weren't using SkyWest, and they had to come from, the plane went from like Colorado or Minnesota or something like that to Portland, and they had a bunch of headwinds, and then they had to come back down to Reno, and then we were flying back. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, probably good you weren't driving back. I saw some footage of people like hitting the Sierras of snow and all that. Oh my god, it looked like Lord of the Rings.
OMC. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Oh my cow. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we drove back. We'd have to go through the Sierras. We went through the 395 pass, which
Right.
had some snow on the side of the roads, but that was about it. It was pretty good. So, and of course the closing ceremonies. And I did some research today to find out if they had passed on the attendance numbers, which they have not done yet, and they haven't updated the charity total, which right now the charity total is $21,420.69. So it was kind of interesting at the closing ceremonies that it was 21, or it was blackjack, cough, 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 fun
Right.
times. That was the way they
nice.
described
Nice.
it. Yeah.
It's
Nice.
Nice. Oh, nice. Nice.
Well, also,
Yeah,
also
that's
that
right.
there were 420 volunteers as well. So,
That's right, which
Yes,
is pretty
right?
appropriate.
it was
right?
a
Nice.
very
Very
interesting
good con.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
And then-
all the stars aligned.
And then, Taebyn,
course.
did you dance again on Sunday night?
I did. That was
I know you did,
very,
yes.
very useful for. I'm really glad. Anyway, enough. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I did.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
just going to say yes, I did.
Nice.
All right. So, Taebyn, who did you meet this con? Who did you hang out with? Who did you hug?
Well,
That you remember?
oh, that I remember. So
Yeah.
I hugged lots of furs. I mean, there were just so many furs that I mean, there's just so many that I know. I guess furs that other furs might know are Paco Panda, Furcasting, Kajani Lion, Haven, Strongback Fox, Demetrius, Zarafa, our friend Clovix, so many other furs that I have said. Oh, Colin Bunny, shout out again. I hugged Colin Bunny.
Colin
I
Bunny,
hugged
yep.
Lux really quick. Right at the very beginning of everything. TickTock, Rayne, you barely, I hugged you a bunch. Many other furs that I hadn't seen for a while. So shout out to all of you. I can't name all your names right now because we don't have enough time. But you know who you are. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of that.
Right. So, going around the clock, meaning around the people that are on our podcast, the panel right now, would BLFC be a con that you would recommend for first-time fursuiters?
Let's see. I would say yes, given that you did some practice beforehand. Like, please, I think that this applies in general. Please don't buy a fursuit and just go to the con the next week. Yeah, practice. Let it get broken in. Learn how to move around. Learn how to deal with the heat and what works for, the undergarments and things for you. But yeah, no, I mean that was like I was technically a first-time fursuiter at that con, but yeah, no, I've got about a year and a half worth of experience under my belt, doing other things in it.
Right. Rayne, what about you? Would you recommend this to first-timers?
I would recommend it to first-timers with the same caveat that TickTock gave. Luckily, Rose City Comic Con was last month, and I decided, you know what, this is a good test run for me. I had just gotten my Easy Cool Down vest, which I 100% highly recommend. If you have not listened to the episode with Easy, that's season 1. Go back and listen to it. His technology is amazing. It honestly will save your life. But yeah,
Easy
it was
Cool Down vest?
this.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
this was my first. This was my first FurCon fursuiting, and I had a completely amazing time.
Nice.
I could not.
Concur.
like I could not have like planned it better. It was the most fun. I met so many great furs, like a lot of furs that I follow on Twitter and TikTok, and not you TikTok, but the app TikTok. Sorry,
my nemesis.
Yes,
right.
But yeah, no, it's a fantastic con. It's really well laid out. It's easy to get around. I mean, elevators, depending on what time you go, can be a hassle. But
yeah, that's any convention. Though.
Yeah, any convention, and they do their best really to keep things moving. So if they notice the elevators are getting if they notice the elevators are getting crowded, they start a line, and then as soon as it frees up, then it goes back to just self-serve.
I was impressed about how fast the elevators actually went to this con.
Yes,
I mean, we've been at cons where you stand in line for half an hour, 45 minutes before you get to the elevator door. Yeah. Speaking of elevators, if you are visiting somebody who is on floors 20 or floors 18 and above, make sure you go to the right elevator, because some poor silly raccoon was going to visit some friends and got on the wrong elevator and realized and realized it only goes to 17 and I needed to get up higher than 17. And so you gotta watch those banks.
Some poor silly raccoon was wandering around trying to figure out how to get to that other bank of elevators.
And the stairwell only leads out and down at the GSR as well, so you can't climb the stairs up, unfortunately.
No. Right. Yeah. Because
not that I was going to climb the stairs up in fursuit.
No, right. Lux, would you recommend this for first-time fursuiters?
Yeah. So I definitely caveats. I will say this, like, because I owned a fursuit beforehand, and so especially for first-time fursuiting, not only can you overdo it physically, but also suit space is definitely something different than like meat space, right? So I would always say, like, if you're going to miss out on some things if you're in suit, but you're also going to miss out on some things if you're not in suit. So I would always say, like, plan out your time, like, accordingly. Like, before you even get into your fursuit, make sure, like, okay, no panels are going on that I'm going to miss, like, visually, or there's no activities that I'd want to do. It's hard. Things that are hard to do in suit are attending panels if there's no microphone is a little bit difficult. The dealer's den, if you don't have a handler and your suit vision isn't so hot, that can be pulling out your wallet and whatnot. That can be incredibly difficult. There's other things that are great to do in suit. Like BLFC has this awesome activities lounge where they have the big dice and of course getting your picture taken endlessly by 1,000 people complimenting you. So I would say, yeah, absolutely. Like,
and the tricycle, right, Taebyn?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the tricycle. Yep. And the other thing too,
I had way too much fun with that.
Yeah, BLFC was definitely a great con to also show up and do a thing that wasn't necessarily fursuiting, was your own thing. That the guy with the train, the guy with the computer monitor head, my goofy little fortune telling thing. So if you've got kind of a cool artistic, and also room parties as well. I don't know BLFC. I did not make it to the party floor, but I do know that Further Confusion is kind of the other convention that has really, really cool room parties. But it's always, if you've got a kind of a cool, artistic, funky idea, maybe you just want to give away. I remember back at Midwest Fur Fest, there was a guy folding foxes out of $1 bills, and he was trading it with fox art and whatnot. So he was just going to these room parties being like, fox for a fox? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, if you've got a creative idea, either fursuiting or something like that, yeah, BLFC is a great place to kind of let your creativity run free.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Final words, Taebyn? Any final words from the pup?
Hi.
Hi.
Do we want to talk about PCD? Do we want to talk about post-con depression a little bit?
No.
Possibly? No.
No. That would be too emotional for all of us involved, I think. So,
okay. Well, I hope everybody's drinking chicken noodle soup and holding it in your hearts, because the next big one's Midwest Fur Fest, right? Out in Chicago.
That's the next big one. But what's the next one you're going to, Taebyn?
The next one this pup is going to is A&W in Seattle, Anthro Northwest. For any fur that hasn't been, I really highly recommend it. I've gone to every single one so far, and it's really great, really well organized. We had Gabriel, the founder and chair, on our show. He was our very, very, very first guest back in season 1, episode 3 or whatever.
And there are seasons?
Yes.
Yeah,
this is season 2.
This is season 2.
This is season 2 of this BFFT. Yeah. So for those of you that are planning to attend or think they would like to attend Anthro Northwest, it's November 19th through the 21st. and 22nd, and it is. You can still sign up. You can still go, and there still are rooms available at the hotel. So, just 3 weeks out, this episode of BFFT is going to drop immediately after we do this. So you'll be able to hear this and know that things are happening at A&W up in Seattle. So I plan on going for at least 2 days, but we will have some fun up there. And Taebyn, you're something special for A&W, aren't you, Taebyn?
Well, so there is so much I can say to that, and so I won't say everything I will to that. But so they asked me to co-host the dance comp this year, and actually last year, or not last year, but 2019, the last A&W, I ended up co-hosting. Well, no, wait. I don't even remember. So in 2019, I hosted the dance comp and hosted the last 3/4, I think, or half of the Floor Wars.
Nice.
So go to A&W and you will see the pup. Hopefully he will have his voice back by then, hosting the dance comp. So.
Yeah, it'd be like a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of the A&W float, right?
There you go.
Yes.
With a cherry on top. With a cherry on top. All right. Well, Taebyn and I thank everybody for coming on and giving us your BLFC takes and what you did. So we thank you all and hope to see you at a con soon. Thank you all for coming. Taebyn, stay on the line. We'll let these folks get off the line here.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Hey,
Bye.
thanks much, Mr.
Bye.
Bark.
Have a good day. Bark.
Well, Taebyn, I had a great time at BLFC with you. I hope that you had a great time with me. I know that
I did.
we
I
did
did.
a lot.
I wagged. It was good.
We did a lot of stuff up there, and it was a great trip. Always wonderful. For everybody listening, this now puts Taebyn and I at the 10,000 mile mark for going to cons. Yes.
Wow. No, I believe it. I totally believe it.
I did the math of all the trips we've taken, and after yesterday, we have broken 10,000 miles together driving to different cons.
So for all you do realize that means
Taebyn, I don't know.
you do realize that means that Barely has actually tolerated this pup for over 10. Like, we're in the same car together. It's like he's stuck, and he did that.
Yeah.
So shout out to Barely that he has been able to do that. So yeah, any fur, next time you get a chance, make sure you get him a condolence hug for all he's been through with the pup.
And I have not put the pup out on the side of the road. Just like,
not yet.
Yeah.
Knock on fluff.
Knock on fluff. All right. All right, Taebyn. We will talk to you later. Mubark Fluff. Have a great evening.
Mubark Fluff to you, Barely. I can't wait to talk to you and bark at all you fluffs out there again. So have a wonderful night. Until next time, Mubark Fluff.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerves studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded, and directed by me, Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by myself and our associate editors, Rayne Raccoon and Bixby Wolf. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by our music associate, Reg Day, with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Reg Day, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through SilvermanSound.com, Gator Tots on SoundCloud.com, and the YouTube Free Use Library. You can send us a message via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. The show is supported through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.